Hello everyone, welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation. My name is Mark Kelly. I am your wonderful host, your intrepid guide on this journey of all the amazing creative people that we have here in Whangarei. And we have a few. It's great. Absolutely love it. Today's guest, someone a little bit special. I'm going to flick to my camera. Someone a little bit special. We've got Lauren Fegan. Lauren is probably most well known for starting up for kind of kick-starting the comedy scene in Whangarei, but she's also known as, or mainly, as the, I guess, manager of Roost on Bank Street. Would that be fair to say, Editor Rocky? Yeah, he's nodding his head. So, yeah. She is super cool, super funny, and, We've had some amazing guests on. She is no exception. Been trying to get her for a little while, and we kind of talk about that at the start of the podcast. Just couldn't make schedules line up, unfortunately. But we got her here in the end. We are super stoked to have her on board. So I'm going to shut up. Let us sit down and have a conversation with Lauren Fegan. Yeah, well, it's kind of how it's done, right? Yeah. I clap, you clap, I clap again, you clap, there we go.
Good acoustics, I like it.
I know. Well, so the interesting thing is, when either Rocky or editor, so they've got names, it's editor Rocky and producer Andrew, when either of them sits down to edit it, it's usually one clap by me. Now they're going to be like, it's 4 claps, what the hell do I do? So we've broken the fourth wall there, people. Now,
hey,
Lauren.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation.
Kia ora. Yeah.
Kia ora indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Welcome. Now, I have a question for you, and it's the hot topic question. How do I say your surname? Because there's probably a couple of ways, but I don't want to offend, because I do get some surnames horrifically wrong, especially when I just make it up. So it's either Fegan or Fegan.
I'll accept both.
Ooh, but what's the correct pronunciation?
I would say Fegan.
Fegan.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought that might have been 2 E's, but there's not. There's 1 E. Is there like a funny slash or some dots?
There's not, no.
Nothing like that?
I didn't put it in, so it's not there yet.
Okay, cool. Is there meant to be normally?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah, so that's my married name, so my maiden name's Caldwell, which is a bit more
Caldwell.
Scottish, but
Caldwell.
Yeah, and then I married a Fegan, just to really drive home.
Yeah, I know. You've gone from Caldwell, which is it's a little bit posh, to Fegan.
And it's not. Yeah.
It's not.
Just
but it could be.
Yeah.
It does sound a little bit fancy. That's very cool. Okay, so Fegan is your married name.
Fegan, yeah.
All right. Now, thank you very much for coming in. I do appreciate it, Lauren Fegan. So I have to say it multiple times, because by the time that I do your intros and outros, I'm going to be like, I'm going to really fuck your name up, and I don't want to. But I digress. Now,
I get vegan a lot. A lot. Yeah.
Lauren Fegan.
Yeah. That's good. I try and tell if you like respell it WHEGAN. So that's like so it'd be like the Maori way.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You could all no, that wouldn't work. I was just thinking you could say the evil person from Oliver Twist. Because he was Fegan.
Oh, so he was too. Yeah.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah. So, thank you for coming in and joining us. I do appreciate it. We've been trying to get you on for a little while.
I know. I'm a little bit reluctant, I thought.
Well, I'm very curious to know why reluctant. So, we've officially passed our 1-year milestone.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So, as of the day of recording this podcast, which is June the 19th, it is actually officially our 1 year today.
Oh,
yeah!
Double
cool.
Congratulations!
Thank you very much. When your podcast comes out, will come out a little bit later on, so it is quite cool. But we tried to get you 3, 4 times.
3. Don't exaggerate. Yeah.
Is that like half a dozen?
Yeah.
And obviously, the last time you ended up going, feck it, I want to take a holiday. Yeah. And then you sodded off back to Ireland.
When we finally secured a date, and I did, then I was like, oh, actually, I've decided to go to Ireland for a week.
Which is funny because because you text me to say, oh bollocks, and I was like, and then I read the text and I was like, the tone of it sounds like she's actually in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then is like, oops, my bad. Was that actually the case?
I think I was just flicking through because that trip was quite spontaneous.
Yeah.
We pretty much just like surprised all of our family. Nobody knew we were coming. It was just like, oh, frig it, let's just go.
Right.
And then I got there, and then I was like, did I have anything planned?
I don't have anything booked in my schedule.
Yeah, flicking through my calendar, and I was like, Mark.
Oh, okay, cool.
So then I was like, whoopsie, but good. But we rescheduled, and we got here.
And we are flexible here.
Yeah.
Thank you for sending through your pre-interview questionnaire. I do appreciate it. I like to have a bit of a read through hand, and while I was reading, while we were sitting here talking, I had a bit of a chuckle. Lived out of a van up until December 2022. Now, was that a van down by the river?
That was a van down by the river. Yeah.
For those of you that don't, it's an SNL joke. I highly recommend going and watch it. Chris Farley is legend.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah. Fully, yeah, absolutely. And I got told, like, I didn't know the whole living, like, down by the river until I got to New Zealand. Everyone was like, do you live in a van down by the river? Yeah.
Okay.
It was never the intention to be in the van for 2.5 years. So we just recently moved out. Yes, Christmas just gone.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was quite the experience. We came to New Zealand just thinking, oh, we'll just travel for a bit without a van and we'll just sort of, never gave ourselves a timeline, but it wasn't going to include up until now. And then that just kept going on and going on and going on.
So how long in total?
2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yeah. I mean, we did have, like, we made good friends and we had house sits here or there whenever they had holidays.
Yeah.
And we did, stayed in friends' gardens and things like that did help and back and forth.
COVID would have been incredible for you guys.
Well,
like the lockdown, because you're like, you could just drive anywhere. You need to get back to your home. This is my home.
Yeah, well, that was the start.
Oh, really?
We landed 2 weeks before lockdown, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we left, we lived in Sydney, Australia for a year.
Okay.
We're very much, like, as Sydney goes, like, tied to an apartment. Like, the guilt of paying rent and going away for a weekend was like... I mean, that's always the case. You're always paying rent when you go on holidays, but Sydney was like dollar bills.
Yeah.
And then, so we were just like, all right, well, we'll start living in a van. We'll start traveling in a van. And we left, and somebody said to us, oh, did you hear about this? Like, somebody had a bat in China, blah, blah. And we were like, no, never heard. Flew to here, and then all of a sudden, just like, phones started blinging up.
Yeah.
Stuff's happening.
Okay, far out.
And
that's
crazy.
We're
in the middle of like the far north somewhere.
Yeah.
Just like seeing some nice comedy trees and whatever. And then it was like, no, you've got 24 hours to get somewhere that is your spot for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Ended up being then
2 months.
3 weeks. Yeah. So we drove back down to Whangarei.
Okay.
And then we parked up. Thought this was a weird little place.
Yeah.
For the full time we were in for lockdown, because nobody was around the streets and
no,
all very deserted. We were like,
very
this
weird
is
time.
So didn't know Whangarei.
Yeah.
For months after living here.
Okay, far out. And was there any guilt
of
being like patient zero for COVID for New Zealand? No. Okay, no. That's good. Okay.
No, I shook it off pretty easy. Yeah,
okay, good. Just shake it off.
Blow your nose and move on.
Yeah, cough on everyone. So with every podcast, the whole goal of it is to actually get to know the person and the artist and why they're here. Now, your creative expression is what?
Oh, that's a huge question.
Yeah, no, that's why I like it.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think creative expression. Damn it! Actually, a little bit of everything, which is a bit of a terrible answer. But always sort of had this creative way of thinking right from I was young, just like as everyone does, and paints and whatever as children.
Right. Okay.
But really was like engulfed with that, and Mum had to like make dinner around me on the kitchen table because I just had all this art stuff and she'd be like, clear the table, and I just moved it all to the side and then moved it back again. But then that just sort of led one thing after the other to art college, and then I kind of just gapped it for a while, did sort of normal full-time jobs and stuff.
Right.
And now my creative expression is probably just like, I'm going to say storytelling because I'm a restaurant manager now, so I'm not essentially an artist.
A restaurant manager?
Yeah, so that is not,
sounds
that's
very
my
formal.
That is my, occupational title.
It's your official job title. Well, but you also do comedy, right?
So then, yes, but from doing that and working hospo, it is basically just chatting with everyone, and that's my outlet. That's how, and then it's like building relationships and just chatting and storytelling, because I've just always done that, and then that led into comedy. So my job in itself is just now, well, running all the social media stuff for the restaurant.
Yep. Yeah, and you do a lot as well. Wow. So many videos and posts. Yeah. It's bonkers. Like daily.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Advertising is definitely the key at the minute. And social media is the way to do that. That's just it. So, yeah, multitask a lot. I'm sorry to anybody who on the way to handing you food at Roost, I'm videoing it, photographing it on the way. Yeah. Actually, I've ground your food too, and you remember that whenever you sat?
Yes,
I do. You sat on table 9?
Yeah. Of course, table 9. I mean, who could forget? It was a good time.
Well, you just got a great spread of food, and I was like, can you all just not eat it for a little second? Do I just snap a cool photo?
That's right. We got all the sides.
Yeah, you did.
It was almost one of every side.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
And 2 chickens, yeah.
Massive feed.
Yeah.
So good. Let's go back. Yeah. Let's go right back. Because you talked about mum and dads.
Yeah.
And growing up and painting.
Yeah.
When did you first discover that was something that you enjoyed as opposed to just doing it?
Probably never. These are hard questions, Mark. You're throwing them at me here. When I first decided that it's a bit more extra,
sorry, I didn't realize.
That I was a bit more.
Welcome to the Northland Artists in-depth conversation.
Take a good look at yourself.
Yeah. Let's go inwards.
When I first thought it was a bit more extra than anyone else, so that's kind of
Okay. And how old were you when you went extra?
I don't even think I still know.
Really?
Yeah, I just think I'm pretty much like everyone else.
You're just extra, period?
Well, no, I just don't think I am.
Okay. Right.
Mm.
So how old are you when you're sort of doing your drawing and pushing everything to the one side, having the meal, and then bringing everything back?
Oh, that was, high school stuff, so like...
Okay, right.
Yeah, 15, 16, and then... Yeah. So we spent... my granddad was a painter.
Right.
Yeah, my dad's dad, my granddad Frank, was a painter. Yeah. And in both senses, like that was his occupation, that he was a painter.
Right.
Yeah,
so
right?
like you'd paint a wall or a house or
like
something.
That was and then also as a hobby, he was like a fine painter. Like,
wow.
Yeah, when you want to get away from your job as your downtime, he just
I know
more fine stuff.
That's crazy.
So it was really kind of and like as far as I know, he didn't sell anything.
Okay.
But he had lovely art in around like the house that he had painted, and we would have all as cousins, like me and my cousins, and there's a lot of us. Yeah. Just sat and copied what the frames he had on the wall.
Right. Yeah.
And when he passed away, that was one of the things that I'd say that I'd wanted, was he's got this lovely painting.
You got something?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It hangs above the fireplace at my mum and dad's house,
Nice.
Narrowater Keep.
Now
which is,
Okay.
Ironic,
now, you come from quite a big family, eh?
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, I'm Irish. You got that part? Yeah. So, I'm
not going to drop the race card here.
Yeah.
How many kids are we talking?
In my house, there's only 4 of us.
Okay.
Which is below average, really.
It's below average for Ireland, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mum's one of 8. My dad's the same. So I've got probably upwards of 80 cousins or 90 cousins. Yeah.
And wow. Yeah. And like almost 14 aunties and uncles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot. Do buying presents get expensive? Or is it just like a card?
Yeah, no.
And like a lotto ticket or something? I don't know.
Well, the idea is that what you give, you're going to receive too, so it all balances out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because if you give out 16 cards with lotto ticket or 14, you get 14 back, right?
Well, if you focus on the godchildren, that's the key too.
Right. Yeah.
Your auntie and uncles are the ones that are your godparents.
Yeah.
And then even now, I'm lucky enough to have godchildren too. Yeah.
So how many? How big is the family that we're talking? Godchildren wise, how many?
In my house,
house.
My brothers and sisters. Yeah. So I've got my eldest brother's got 2 kids. He actually lives in Sydney.
Okay.
And then the one below that one, he's got 4 kids. Okay. And they all live in Ireland. Mm-hmm. And then me, and I'm childless thus far.
Childless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much to.
Disappointment of your parents?
I was gonna say, my parents are fine. Yeah.
Okay.
More the in-laws, but.
Right. Okay. Right.
But we're all well aware of that. Yeah. It's gonna come, it'll happen.
It'll happen
Yeah.
when you're ready.
Yeah.
Time's right. There's massive progresses in modern science. It's all good.
Yeah.
Plus, you're not that old. You're, in your late 20s?
I just turned 30.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Thanks.
Hey, awesome. Very cool.
Cheers.
Did you get 14 lotto tickets?
14.
Yeah, from the aunties and uncles.
Oh, no. I got a couple of cards.
Okay.
Yeah. Postage now is a factor, yeah.
Yeah, not cheap.
Yeah, but we are going to do a little thing when I go home now again soon.
It's cool because you're back off in a few weeks, aren't you? Far out. So it's like holiday, birthday, holiday.
It's all happening.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And for someone that's in hospital, is this sort of the best time of year to be doing it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can do without me for a few weeks. So.
I'm sure they'll survive.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah. Well, they'll be alright.
They will be okay.
You'll notice I'm gone, but I'll be back.
Yeah. Suddenly all the posts sort of become once a week.
Yeah. If that, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I can post from Ireland. I'll do that. No, I won't.
Yeah.
All this. Yeah.
Just send me some photos and I'll talk over the top of it. So with, I guess, art being kind of the initial driver for you, your initial creative outlet.
Yeah.
When you decided to go to what was it? The Belfast.
I went to Belfast School of Art. Yeah.
Yeah, Belfast School of Art.
Yeah.
Was it drawing or just kind of art in a broad sense that you went there for?
Yeah, so we did our first year was a foundation degree, so you can choose to do it or not, so you can go straight into your specialised course, or which is hard to get into, but myself just didn't know what I wanted to do, so they did this fabulous foundation course, which just means you just spend a year doing a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So just figure it all out. And I always kind of thought I was going to just eventually do photography, but when I got there, I started just drawing and doing more illustrating stuff and more graphic design. So always been sort of a bit more crafty rather than, any technical stuff.
Right.
So then graphic design became a bit of a surprise for me that I was like, oh, yeah, all right, this is kind of, but it's that kind of field where you can go as illustrative or as graphic as you like.
Right, okay.
Depending on what even the project is, you can let you just skip between one thing to the next, whatever your style is. So yeah.
Did you find sort of having that freedom to explore so many different fields and avenues until you can sort of pick and choose the bits you like? Do you think that was a help, or would you have preferred something that was a little bit more focused?
No, I did think that was a help. Like, I am a very broad person, I like to do a little bit of everything anyway, all the time.
Yeah.
So it did suit, and at least now, like, I know, oh God, like, imagine if I didn't do a little bit of everything and figure out what I liked. If I did just go straight into that route, probably wouldn't. I mean, I would have been all right. It probably would have turned out fine.
Yeah.
Wherever I would have been. But it was nice to just spend. And that year was a bit loose then too. Like our first year in university in Belfast, and then was just it was good.
Yeah.
And living away from home and just traveling up and down and stuff like that. Then I could figure out what the hell I wanted to do. And then originally the course was called VisCom, which was visual communication.
Oh, right.
And then they actually changed it. Yeah. Well, they changed it about halfway through our course, and it changed to graphic design illustration so that people could understand more what it meant, which we weren't quite happy with because we liked the broad sense of visual communication, especially now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Graphic design illustration kind of seems a bit more.
It's very focused, right?
Yeah.
Like you have photography.
Yeah.
Graphic design.
Yeah.
Illustration.
Originally, I signed up for VisCom, so visual communication, which was just this whole sense of everything.
Yeah, and that's anything that you can kind of absorb, obviously visually.
Yeah. So it became that, and then they kind of changed it halfway through, and we were like, bring back VisCom, but they didn't listen.
How long were you at Belfast School of Arts for?
4 years in total. So 1 year foundation, then a 3 year course.
And what did you end up going into for the 3 years?
So graphic design illustration. Originally VisCom, and then changed to graphic design illustration.
Oh wow! Yeah. So you'd stuck with that.
Oh yeah, like once they changed the name of the course.
Right.
But not like essentially what the course was. So it was just like, okay, now you've got this new title that I know you didn't originally sign up for, but that was it. Yeah.
And you obviously didn't mind it because you stuck around. I mean, that's 4 years in total.
Yeah.
It's a bit of student loan.
Fully.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. One that's still to be owed, like still owe.
You walk back in the country.
Yeah.
Miss Fegan. Have you brought $2,000 with you? No, not at all. That's spending money. So you walked away. Did you walk away with a degree?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got letters.
I scraped by my degree at the end. Yeah.
And you have letters after your name?
Oh yeah, BD honours sort of stuff. Blah, blah,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
I did scrape in the end, and it was good. Did it? It was no. It was well. I'd love it to be a bit more enjoyable than that. Sort of ended up with a bit of depression for one reason or another in my third year. So did really well coming into it, and then because I just basically didn't go for like 4 or 5 months. I had to sort of, and luckily I started off really well.
Strong.
So that when I did, I met in the middle somewhere at the end.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
One of those things.
Yeah, and it's interesting having talked with, we've had 50 plus artists on here over the time, and mental health challenges come up a lot more often than you think.
Yeah.
And it seems to be quite high for people that are naturally quite creative.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, because when you're in that zone of being creative, like everything's massively high and you're flying through it, but then when you come out the other end and you come down, it can be quite crushingly low.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
And you do a lot of like self-critique stuff as an artist as well. Like that's all on you. So you spend that time doing that, and then because of that, you're right, it is higher in artists.
Yeah.
And because of that in university, then like the lectures and stuff were just like, oh yeah, there's another one. So they never really like, oh, she's not in school. I'll sure that's another one.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was quite good. It's quite good in terms of like, Yeah,
you have that ability to fly under the radar for a little bit.
Yeah, and I was kind of unbeknown to me for a long time, but that's what it was. But I'm lucky now that because that was early in my life.
Yes.
I know now how to deal with it, and if anything ever does come up, and it.
And you're
I'm pretty healthy right
self-aware now too, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly,
you know when it's coming and kind of what you need to do to look after yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Go for a run. Yeah, that's fine.
Eat chips. That's mine. So, what did you do once you got this amazing degree? You've got a degree. You've got letters after your name. You're ready to enter the big bad world, and
I think because of how much I had to push towards the end of that degree, and scrape into it, then I was kind of like, oh, let's not do that for a while.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So you dropped out and just kissed creativity goodbye.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Wow.
I was doing a part-time job to sort of like get me through.
Yep.
Pay for art supplies and stuff.
Yep.
Which was domiciliary care. So I was going around people's houses to help them make tea and get out of bed, and a little bit of everything.
Wow. So, that's like what, like in-home support type stuff?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly that. So then it was on a various range of ages and abilities and disabilities and stuff, but it was just me having the chats with like all my new grandas and grandas, and it was just, and I just really, really enjoyed that. So I ended up just doing that full time, and that was just me, and I was, that was it. Just stopped doing any arty stuff, but then like conversation wise it was great. I had the ability to ask them questions and be creative, and how to deal with situations. Like art comes back to a lot of stuff like that. As somebody had dealing with dementia, for example, like would draw and write stuff, and so that was good. And then worked that for a bit, ended up it all got a bit heavy towards after a couple of years of it.
I could imagine.
As a young person, like dealing with a lot of essentially people on their way to death, which was I was quite which I appreciate loads too, like I to be able to be with people at that point in time, like families and stuff, like it was amazing. And then for a young person I was like, right, I'll deal with this again later on whenever I have no choice.
Right, yeah.
Now when I should just not do that.
Yeah, and I imagine having come through battling your mental health stuff, then coming out the other side and being, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm going to deal with death now.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't think of a better way to test my mental health.
Then that led to what am I doing now? Like a happy job. So I sold ice cream.
You sold ice cream?
Yeah. Yeah, so I spent a year and a half selling ice cream, which is one of the happiest jobs you can possibly do.
That's not a lot of downside.
Yeah, so somebody can walk in either in a good mood or in a bad mood, but no matter what, you've handed them an ice cream and they feel better about it.
Oh, yeah.
Sprinkles, the whole lot, it's good.
Choc top.
Yeah. Oh, this was vanilla only.
Oh.
Yeah.
No flavours?
No flavours.
Just what the sprinkles?
Homemade vanilla, best ice cream you'll ever have in your life. Timony's.
Timony's?
Timony's, yeah.
Timony's and...
Timony's Ices in County Down.
And I'm sorry. Where was that again?
In County Down, in Ireland.
County Down.
Yeah, well, my home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best job ever. Yeah. I like my current job. Don't get me wrong, but that was the best job ever.
Northland Artists Conversation is proud to support 116. 116 are located on Bank Street in Whangarei, and an amazing venue that you can actually hire. If you're looking to hold an event or looking to hire a venue for a special occasion, 116 on Bank Street are an absolutely fantastic place. You can simply contact them via email off their website or through Facebook as well. 116 have had such amazing events in the past as the Whangarei Fringe Festival, and they've also held the Plunge pop culture convention there as well. They also have local artists that also put performances on, as well as incoming artists that come into the region as well and want to be able to do things like have plays or perform music or any of those sorts of cool things. 116 are also home to the amazing Beagle radio station as well, which is a local initiative that is all set up with some very, very talented people that actually love what they do, and they do it all for free. So it's very, very cool. So 116 on Bank Street, proudly supported by the Northland Artists Conversation. So as someone that found joy in something as simple as serving ice creams, what do you think was why is that the greatest job in the world? Aside from the fact that people come in happy, sad, angry, and then leave in a happy mood. What was it for you?
Oh, it is a community for sure.
Right.
You get your regulars, you know what they like, and then that kind of leads back into the emotion of the thing. So, which we're trying not to do.
We can do.
But it's also then it's the conveyor belt of how things work. It's like, scoop, cone, toppings, boom, till, gone. Next one, boom, boom. And like you wouldn't believe it you can sell that much ice cream in Ireland, but on a Sunday they're just queued out the door. Really? In the rain. If it's raining, they're just still going to wait in their ice cream, yeah.
So it sounds like it's got a bit of an assembly line sort of feel to it. It's all very measured and... Yeah. What do you think would have been the most amount of people you'd have served in a day?
Oh.
I know. Because we're going to take you right back.
Now you're talking thousands.
In a day?
Yeah. Would be, yeah.
How many people? Just you in the store?
Oh, we'd have 5 servers at one time, yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
So
and you probably put a 6th in there, only you're getting tight for space, yeah.
Far out.
Yeah. A lot of times we have to even, because it's just made, it's just fresh and getting churned to made, like to order. We actually, if anybody at home listens to this, we have to slow it down sometimes. So we'll have like signals behind, like staff will be like, slow it down, because we're not making it fast enough. We're selling it too fast.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'd sort of like have little signals like, slow it down.
Wow. So then you start stalling the process, do you?
Yeah.
You're like,
you have to,
you get the hand signal or man, I could really go for a pizza. There's the cue to just slow it down for a second. And then it's like, you're standing there mid-scoop going, so, the rugby. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about it. Or whatever the fuck you do.
Or you'd remember what their order was, but you'd be like, oh, sorry, what was that again? But like, you wouldn't listen because you knew what it was.
Right, yeah.
But you're just like,
so you're just intentionally stalling.
Yeah, just so we can keep making, and we're making it as fast as we can, like, and as good as we can. It's high quality stuff.
Yeah.
But we're selling it too quick sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did you do the ice creaming for? Couple of years?
Yeah, about a year and a half, yeah.
Okay.
I actually did it recently when I was home in Ireland on my holidays.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I was like over then seeing like Karina, my old boss, and Collie and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah. And then they're like, what are you doing on Sunday? And I was like, I can do a bit of scooping if you like. So end up me and my little sister. That was good quality time even too. My little sister works there.
Oh
helps out on the odd time too.
Yeah, that's
just because again, like me, she used to work there full time and then went off and now does like her own little career, but still helps out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, good quality.
Yeah,
time.
That's so funny. I had almost an exact same situation. I used to work at a video store in Gisborne, and anytime I would go home, if I lived in like Hawke's Bay where I was doing my drama degree, or if I lived in Bay of Plenty, and I'd sort of come home for a weekend, I'd roll up on a Friday, and then the owners of the video shop would be like, hey Mark, it's Jenny here. Just wondering if you can work Saturday night.
Bit of cash.
And it would be like, yeah, sure. Oh, fuck, does she know I'm home? But she would always know. It would always be the phone call. And she'd be like, can you come down to work? Yeah, why not? Yeah. And I'd go down and work, and I'd like stand there. I'd do all the videos and stuff like that. And then Rod, Jenny's husband, would sort of come in and be like, mate, it's good to see you. Have a beer. And you'd drink and shoot the shit. And it was just like, this is cool.
I thought, like, am I going to pick it back up? Because there is an art to it. There you go. There is an art, like,
really?
Like you gotta get the wrist action properly and get your scoop and stuff. There is an art, and I thought, well, I'd pick it, but as soon as I lifted that scoop again, I was like, all
memory recall.
Yeah, and then jump back straight into hundreds and thousands of people.
Oh my god, that's so crazy. So after you did that for 18 months to 2 years. Yeah. Where did you go to from there, and then why
Australia?
Okay, right. Because I was just about to say, if that's a job that brought you so much joy, why leave? But obviously going to another country.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Why? No, I don't mean to say this in a derogatory way, but why Australia?
Oh, I asked myself that question too, though.
Okay, I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So my brother's been living in, as I mentioned earlier, he's been living in Sydney for like 12 years now. So I've done a couple of holidays to visit him, and thought it was a great place to visit.
Yeah.
Surely it's a great place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And then got there, did the year because, that's what our visa gave us, and we did think about extending it, but it would have been the wrong decision for us.
Right, okay.
So I'm glad that we just realised, So we thought, well, sure, we'll travel through New Zealand. We'll be there a few months just, and
Yeah, and then you fly over, make a trip up north, because I'm guessing you're going to go up north and then kind of work your way down the country.
That was the plan.
That's the plan. But then
COVID. Yeah.
Well,
I can't believe that when I were talking about COVID again.
I was about to say the beautiful whangarei encaptured you.
Yeah.
But it didn't. COVID.
It did too, though. It eventually did. For sure. Like, I absolutely love this. I was going to say town, but city officially, but I love this town.
Definitely. Coming from Gisborne, which is on the east coast of the North Island and 3 hours anywhere remotely interesting, Whangarei to me reminds me of a bigger version of Gisborne. Great beaches, amazing surf, and Auckland's just a hop, step and a jump away, which is nice.
Yeah.
And very cool people.
Really cool people.
Like yourself.
Kia ora.
You're welcome. Kia ora. Now, as someone who is, like, you're doing the ice cream, you're moving to Australia and doing odd jobs?
Oh, I did a couple of, 6-month jobs in Australia. The second one was probably the most that led me towards where I am now, like, in my career.
Hospo.
It was actually working for, like, in a hair salon, but I was their business developer. So I was made to be the person that, like, liaised with the clients. Obviously just to make sure they're happy and like blah blah. Yeah. With their hair and everything, but it was like, can we build relationships here? Like, because a lot of times in Sydney, people have got these like high jobs, like these, there were models coming in and just marketing executives and everything. So it was like, okay, are these people something that we can actually work with and things like that? So and they knew that, but they hadn't got the time to be that person.
Right.
Apart from whenever they were doing the one-on-one.
Right.
But they were like, damn it, our salon's full of people that we could obviously make this business better and do more collaborations and stuff. So they created a job position, and then I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that for 6 months, and then did like what I could, like talk to people, and then end up having collaborations and doing then photo shoots and stuff like for them whenever they were doing different charity things. And
So the gift of the gab.
The gift of the gab, for sure.
Yeah, it's a terrible phrase.
Yeah, it's not.
Sells ice to Eskimos. Yeah. And then you migrate your way over here, and you're doing the van thing, and how do you end up at Roost?
Yeah, Mike says that I basically sold myself to him. Like, he walked in and I basically like was telling him that he needed to hire me.
Right. Okay.
He said it was one of the. Yeah, we talk about it quite often actually and laugh about how there wasn't a job available. Like, they weren't looking for.
Oh, there
people.
wasn't a position.
Not really.
They were like, you came in and they went, we're going to make one up.
Well, yeah, I just came in and I was like, yeah, you need me.
Right. But so humble. So humble.
Yeah, well, I did that whenever I lived in Sydney. The first 6 months, like, I worked in a real estate office and enjoyed it, but realised I was working for people that I didn't really like feel that I was, what's the word?
You didn't like them.
Yeah. So
that's okay.
I did this thing where I rewritten my CV.
Yes.
So it was more exactly who I am.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And it is very unique.
Yeah.
So much so that my brother's mother-in-law at the time, she was visiting, and I'd printed it out and I was looking for jobs, and I was like, "Here, do you want to read my CV?" And she says, "Yeah." And then she read it and she says, "Oh, that's interesting." And she says,
"That's code for."
Yeah, whatever it said. She says, "I wouldn't hire you," and I says, "Great, I don't want you as an employer."
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Like, why should a CV be for that? This is what I don't want.
Yeah,
we're a partnership in this. Like, I want unless you want me, then I don't want you.
Yeah, that's that brings up a really interesting point. I mean, I worked for Workbridge for 2.5, 3 years, somewhere around there, and when you go for an interview, you're not only presenting yourself to the employer. You're also having a chance to interview them as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's essentially a collaboration. You're forming a relationship. Can I have a relationship with this person? No, they're a dick.
Yeah.
Job's probably not right for me then.
Yeah. If you can't be your authentic self, to do good for them as a business.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm just not what I want to do for the business.
Checked out. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much gone from then. It was like, right, that's what I'm going to do. Even from way back, like in career advice and stuff, when I was like 15, 16, it was like, just keep doing what you enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's just what I did. So I'm rewriting the CV, and then when I came to Aotearoa, ended up just cruising on little cafe jobs. If I like it, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
So when I heard there was a job, like heard Roost was up and coming.
Yeah.
And
now, what did that used to be?
It used to be Killer Prawn. I know the whole history, even though I was 1 year of age at the time.
I never went to Killer Prawn. I've only been to Roost.
The only person in Northland.
Is it Editor Rocky? Is that the case? Would I have been?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm getting the head nod.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
And the cool people called it KP. Yeah. Again, these are things I like.
Somehow I don't feel those people would have been cool if they're calling it KP.
Is it KP? Yeah.
Go to the KP. Again, Editor Rock. No, Editor Rock is shaking his head saying, you were not cool if you called it KP.
I'll have to go back and check. I'll take a survey on Whangaroa.
Yeah. Because if anyone knows cool, it's Editor Rocky. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like shaking his head. Okay, so Killer Prawn shuts. Then there's
Web before my time, like
and then I think there's a period of time when nothing's in there, and then Roost dives in.
Yeah. It's a great little story that so Mike Aldred, my boss, used to work there way back when it was rebuilt in 1993.
Oh wow!
So he worked in Killer Prawn for years. I should remember this, but it's something like 18 years or something.
Okay, wow.
And then left, went to other places, blah blah. It eventually closed down, probably because he left. Not really. But multiple reasons. And then so then he was approached by Rima Gandhi, our chef.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they're now business partners, and then they started Roost. So they did all the proper mahi before I got there. They opened in July. Yeah. And then I went in October and told them they needed me.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Nice. Yeah. Now, during this whole period of time, are you expressing yourself artistically, or has that all pretty much gone by the wayside?
In terms of my artistic expression, like in terms of the comedy going stuff was very much then coming. So the year before that, when Fringe Festival was on,
yes,
that's whenever I really delved into just like doing stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And comedy was a workshop that was on that Marty Bright held. And we went that day. I went, and then the group just ended up having a really good time, and we were offered then to do the open mic night, which I didn't really like. Did not cross my mind whatsoever. I just thought I just told stories. That's all I ever did. And then too, because it's just so common in Ireland that's what it is. But it was always, I always was a little bit extra that way too. That even if it was somebody else's story, they'd say, "Oh, Lauren, you tell it." Like, you tell better. Or if somebody wasn't telling it just how I'd like to tell it, I'd be like, "Stop, let me tell it."
Yeah.
So my husband knows all too bloody well.
You're fucking it up. Let me just you shut up. I'll talk now.
Yeah. I'll reclaim this.
Yeah.
But then did that comedy workshop, had a bloody awesome time. Like Marty Bright was just encouraging.
Yeah.
And he's actually now does life coaching as well, which is
life coaching.
Yeah,
wow,
he now does comedy stuff and life coaching. Lives in Australia. But it's just that idea of he's not just workshopping to give you comedy tips. It was you're going to be able to get the confidence to go on stage and spend 6 minutes just
that's it
talking.
Got to go up there and not be afraid to bomb.
Yeah, because that's always a risk. Yeah, no matter how many times you've been up there, it's always a thing.
So
always a risk.
Lordy, but it's a big risk because as someone I was in a band. I was a musician for 7 years, and if we were going to suck, we would all suck as a group. So we can spread the suckage around evenly. We have 20%. But when you're up there and you're bombing, it's 100% you.
It's just you and your mic. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And how did you do that open mic?
Oh, I smashed it.
Okay.
I did.
Cool.
I couldn't, first time ever doing it, full crowd, and I was just, it was so hype, that Fringe Festival, that was the first one that Fungaround had.
Yeah.
People turned out. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And ended up, we were in the back of the green room, and Oliver Scripps and I, who started Hump Night All Right at a comedy club, he was meant to be the headliner, and I was just before Ollie, and he turned around to me and he was just got the word through the back door. He was like, "Ben Hurley's gonna do 6 minutes."
Oh shit!
And I was sitting there and I was like, "Who's Ben Hurley?" I was like,
"Who?
What are you talking about?" And he was like, "What?" But he was trying to be in the zone, so he was just like, "Shut up, Lauren." Don't be asking stupid questions now. So then I was next on. I did my 6 minutes and just had an awesome time. And then Ollie did his 6 minutes after me, and then Ben Hurley got up and it was incredible. So now I'm like, oh my god, Ben Hurley.
Yeah.
And then that was just a stepping stone of I was like, okay, let's do that again.
Yeah.
But Fringe Festival stopped. And Ollie was like, "Oh, well, yeah, there's definitely the opportunity there in Auckland. So, you get comedy down there 7 nights a week."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, but that's
Auckland.
That's Auckland. I don't want to hear.
2.5 hours away."
So we both decided, yeah, sure, we'll just do it. If nobody else is doing it. Well, Ollie did have Naughty Northland, which was a comedy club where he brought up Auckland people.
Oh, yep.
And sold tickets at $30 each. Because it was high caliber of comedians coming up.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Had it often in 116, sort of quarterly or whatever.
Oh, yeah. That would have been cool.
And then I was like, no, but I want to do it. So our idea of the comedy club was Hump Night All Right. So Wednesday nights, small stage, $5 on the door, done. So
are we talking every Wednesday or?
We did it we started off that we were going to do it for as long as we could.
Yeah.
And then we'll just see how long we can do it. And then COVID had this another little thing. I can't believe I've just brought up COVID for the third time.
It's okay. COVID stuck around. It was no. COVID's still in the community,
life has moved on, people, and so have I, but it just doesn't sound...
Apparently not. Yeah. You need to Princess Elsa that shit.
It.
Just let it
go. So we ended up doing every other night, and we did it in Fox Bar on Water Street.
Oh, yep.
So really great little venue for what we were using it for.
Yeah.
And 55 people was a full house, and we had a full house every time.
Wow.
And that's just what we did then. So we probably had about 6 shows before
another lockdown. Yep.
You did it this time, so I'm going to
I said lockdown. Yeah. I didn't say what it was.
And then after that, started working on Roost. So that's whenever it evolved past that. I was like, well, so now the comedy club's going to move now that I work.
Yeah, you got a built-in venue almost.
And have this huge intention of building Roost and keep that event going. So keep the event going, bring it to Roost. So we have it upstairs in the garden bar. It is starting again now this season. So this will be our third season coming, so third year running throughout winter. So 12th of July.
Yes.
On a Wednesday, fortnitly, right through till September.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about that is it's not something that everyone's doing. It's pretty damn unique.
Thanks.
So the fact that you're actually able to do that is quite cool. I do have a question for you. As someone who does the comedy,
tries to do the comedy.
Well, but you do it. You said you crushed it. Humble like Mariah Carey. Do you ever find yourself in that situation? Because I've talked with a few stand-up comedians in Auckland, and then you can kind of see international comedians. Do you always feel that there's a pressure to be funny all the time?
Yeah, but I think that's people. That's not really even for comedians.
Okay, so I'll rephrase the question.
Okay.
Do you think there's an extra pressure because you're a comedian? Do people go, "Oh, you're a comedian? Go on, say something funny.
Yeah.
Make me laugh."
And then I just tell them no.
Yeah.
Because anybody that knows comedy knows that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But I have had people tell me, that only see me for the first time on stage, and then I've been recognised, Mark.
You have?
Yeah.
Have you been asked for an autograph?
No, not yet. That day's coming for sure.
It's coming, yep.
But I've had someone say, "Oh my God, that was a great, blah, blah, we've seen you." And then they've actually, quoted some of, my jokes and about some of the stuff. Yeah, which is quite neat. And then I'll be like, "Thanks."
That awkward moment.
Isn't the weather nice?
Yeah.
But usually I'm gift of the gab is right, even in Roost in hospital, I'm just chatting away to people. But whenever it's so directional, so complimentary as such, then I'm kind of then that pressure does sometimes really get to you, and you're like, "Oh well, now I don't know what to say."
Yeah.
And I generally always have something to say, but yeah.
We've been doing great so far.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason I asked that question is because you look at the comedians that have had very troubled lives. Robin Williams.
Stop.
Jim Belushi.
Now we'll get the tissues.
Chris Farley. Well, but they're victims because they always felt like what did they say? Robin Williams always felt like he had to be on, and he never had an off because people always expected him to be zany and oddball and quick with a quip and all of this sort of stuff. But comedy's not like that. You actually have to sit down. Do you sit down and craft out jokes?
Yep.
And it's not easy, is it?
No, well, it depends on what sort of form everyone takes. So I'll just keep constant notes in my phone when I think of something funny.
Yeah.
I'll just go bing, and it's just in there, and I'll come back to it, and I'll be like, well, what the hell was I talking about? Or I'll spider diagrams, literally where you just do whatever.
Yeah.
And there's different sort of tasks and all you can do, but yeah, it's definitely not just nobody gets up and talks off the cuff, and if they do, they're about to bomb.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or there's obviously some professionals that can really do a lot of good crowd work, but that's always then well rehearsed.
Yeah.
They'll know what sort of way they can lead somebody to, and they can make something out of it. But yeah, there's the craft of it. We do a writers club then in Roost actually on a Wednesday on every week. So that will turn into fortnightly whenever the comedy starts up.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll just turn up and we'll just say, either I've prepared something I've thought about this week, I've thought about this joke, and I'll sort of spit it out.
Yeah.
And we can talk it through and hopefully laugh about it and add in different little things. Or I'll, when in the first week that I come there, was back on my holidays, I was like, well, I haven't prepared anything, haven't written anything down. But something funny happened to me this week, and I'll just say it, and then all of a sudden it will turn into a joke.
Right, okay, yeah.
And that's just...
Yeah.
Because that's how our minds work, that we'll just figure out how to...
Yeah, and that's because you've already done a lot of the background work, and you understand, the three parts of the joke. Because we had Jeff Bartlett on here.
Yes.
And he was great. He sat down and talked, and he said he wrote on Australian comedy sketch show.
Cool.
And he said it's not as simple as just going blah, and you're like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
We'll just write that down. You've actually got to really craft the joke.
Yeah.
So
and in sketch wise, it's completely different. So at least I can lead like my joke, where I want to go, and my joke telling is definitely story building.
Right, yeah.
And then it will be hopefully a clinker at the end. But yeah, sketch-wise is even different because they have to sort of, like, it's got an even slower build. Yeah, and I read the Literate Book Club. Well,
yes.
I actually auditioned for a part in it, but they didn't let me.
That's right. You know,
they reckoned that I wasn't quite understandable. And even right now, I hope we're getting subtitles here at the end. You're doing really well understanding.
So yeah, well, of course. I mean, we will have someone here that'll do interpretive dance.
Absolutely.
And they'll pick it all up for us. That's good. So I mean, other than the starting up the comedy nights again and the writing, is there anything else going on that's quite cool that you'd like to share with our listeners and viewers?
Thanks. So I pretty much build any events going on at Roost, like as Roost. Like, people don't just come unless you put something on. So we've got comedy starting up back up now, so even if somebody is interested in doing some comedy stuff and wants to attend the writers, just to recap on that one, attend the writers workshops, if you've got one good joke that's like 10 years old and you just want one opportunity to do it, then just come down, we'll spiel it out and we'll do that. And 12th of July that starts then, but before that I've got Drag Bingo on.
Drag Bingo,
which comes
okay.
We're very happy to have Luke Bird from Whangarei, and he recommended, somebody said to him, they do Drag Bingo in Auckland, blah blah, we're in Whangarei, it'd be good, and Luke, the good man himself, said Roost is a good little spot, and he was right. That's
a great spot.
And then so we got that on the first Thursday of July, and even before that we're doing Sister Act, like a pre-theatre show.
Yes, that's right. I've seen
which
those.
Which is on now. Which actually might have been gone by the time this airs.
So by the time this comes out, Sister Act will have been done and dusted.
Yeah, we all should have went to it. Too late now. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
I went yesterday to a fantastic show.
There's been a couple of friends of mine that have gone to see it, and they've posted photos and said it's been amazing.
No, shouldn't have.
Amazing. Well,
you're not allowed to. There was an announcement at the start.
Yeah, sure, you're not allowed to do lots of things.
Yeah. I actually had to get in
that stopped some people.
In the there's a little funny story. On the way into Sister Act yesterday, I was like getting a wee glass of wine, obviously.
Sure.
It was 1:30 on a Sunday. So and this guy was like, "Oh, you're from," and I interrupted him before he said England. And I was like, "Ireland, yeah." And then he says, "No, I'm from Roost."
Right.
I was like, "Oh yeah." I'm just constandly asked that, where are you from? And the answer is Ireland, but no, he meant Roost.
It's Roost.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's me now."
Yeah. That's very cool. Thank you so much for coming in and sitting down. This has been a hoot. It's genuinely been such a good laugh as well.
Good crack, we would say.
Yeah, a good crack.
Yeah.
Are we talking like plumbers or sparkies?
Oh, no, crack, chat.
Oh, right, yeah, that too.
Good, yeah, not bomb.
CRAIC.
Yeah, so you knew, yeah.
Yeah, not CRACK.
No,
okay.
No, good crack. Yeah.
Thank you for coming in, and
thanks,
it's it's great, and hopefully the comedy thing just keeps going because it's so original and it'll genuinely be a lot of fun.
Cheers, yeah. Anybody can give it a go. Just gotta do it.
Well, there we go, everyone. Comedian, and now we gave her a cool title, facilitator. Yeah, the facilitator. Down at Roost on Bank Street, Lauren Fegan. Such a cool person, and she was great. She was able to open up and really sort of talk about her story and her journey. We kind of touched on a few sensitive topics, I think is probably fair to say. We didn't dive too deep into them, but we welcome open conversation and had a lot of fun. She did, however, give us an exclusive. So just 1 second. Roost I have commissioned some T-shirts to be made. Now, these are T-shirts that have got images on the back that have been created by local artists, which is super cool. Now, these go on sale around mid-July. It's not common knowledge yet, so by the time this podcast goes out, it'll be pretty close to when they're coming out. So, highly recommend checking them out. I have seen a couple of the designs. They look brilliant, so original, and they were done by 3 artists. Lauren was one of them, and then another 2 relatively high-profile artists that they kind of spoke with and commissioned to do the pieces. So absolutely recommend checking those out. So you can find that at Roost on Facebook. It's probably the big one, or Instagram Roost or Roost Whangarei. So go check those guys out as well. Really, really cool. They look amazing. Cannot wait to actually see one and touch one. It'll be good. Usually this is the point in time where I sort of talk about some of the interesting things I got out of the podcast. But there wasn't one specific thing that I got. I got a lot of little bits and pieces that I thought were really cool. She touched on her time at the Belfast School of Arts, the joy and the passion that she had for just something as simple as ice creams, and then kind of how she got the job at Roost, and then her journey into stand-up comedy. So original and so unique, which was just really, really cool. She's a lovely person to chat with. If you want to, meet with her or anything, just go to Roost, grab a feed. She'll be there 9 times out of 10. She's just a lovely, lovely person. A great teller of stories, I think, is probably the one thing I would say. Great teller of stories. I'm going to flick back to my camera now. So we're neck deep in the middle of winter. It's very cold, and it's definitely that time of year when we sort of go through a bit of a reflective period, do a little bit of hibernation, and we've been doing this podcast now for a year, and we're really, really proud of that. We're really proud of the work that we've put out. So on a personal note, I want to shout out to producer Andrew, editor Rocky, and communications Marino. Thank you guys for having the tenacity to stick around and help out. The journey has been amazing so far, and I cannot wait to see where we go with this next year. It's been an absolute blast, and I look forward to it more as well. So where can you, the listener or viewer, find out more about us? Well, I'm going to go through some of the bits and pieces now, so make sure you check us out. For video, the visuals, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all Northland Artists Conversation. For audio, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Again, Northland Artists Conversation. If you are a creative person, or you know someone that's creative, and you go, yes, they would be amazing, we think that person, or you have a great story, we'd love to have you come and sit down on the chair, please feel free to contact us. Our email address is hello@northlandartistconversation.co.nz. We've tried to keep it as simple as possible. We'd love to hear from you. We've had some absolutely wicked guests this year so far. A few that I'm incredibly proud of, because these were guests that we'd worked really, really hard to get, and what can I say? I consider us very lucky to have gotten them. We've had a few exclusives again as well. What can I say? It's fun. We love doing this. So we've also got a Patreon page as well. That's where you can support us a little bit more. Patreon is an opportunity for you to give back for all of the wonderful content that we've produced over the year, or for a year in total. And you can simply sign up, and you do that by going to, there's 2 ways. You can either go to Google and go to Patreon, that's Patreon, and then click into the page, top right-hand corner, search Northland Artist Conversation, and you'll find us there. Create an account, join, we'd love to have you. Second way that you can go is super simple, www.patreon.com/Northland Artists Conversation. We'd love to see you. We we're in the process of revamping and redesigning our Patreon page. So when we do relaunch it again, it'll be a bit more simplified. And, you know, that way it's all up to you guys. You know, we'll start and we'll finish and we'll just keep things going as there. Create a nice open dialogue for everyone that wants to be a part of it. I am going to flick back to the wide camera now. So it's been, it's been a crazy time. You know, a lot of things have gone on. We're in July now, and, you know, we've had the BIOS incubator, which is really, really cool. We've also got the comedy festival, the comedy open mic night down at Roost. That's going to be firing up again as well, and workshops on how to actually be a comedian or actually give it a crack. I think the other big challenge that we've got is bloody helicopters that keep flying over above us. Second time tonight of recording this podcast. I don't know. Westpac Helicopter Trust, love what you're doing. We absolutely salute you. But look, if you could find a bit more of a convenient time to fly over or just fly around us, that would be much appreciated. I know it's not possible, but I digress. My name is Mark Kelly. On behalf of the entire Northland Artist Conversation team, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys real soon.